Hi, everyone. This is Ching. Welcome to the panel discussion from factory to wardrobe, the best practice of digital product passports in sustainable textile and manufacturing. I'm pleased to join this with our three panelists, Claes, Emilie Serrano, and Hsieh. I will let them introduce themselves in a bit. And before we get to this session, I have a little bit of background that I would like to deliver. It's about our session, the topic today. So the Eco-Design for Sustainable Products Regulation, ESPR for short, and Digital Product Passport, DPP, as well as its substantial implications for the fashion and textile industry. And this is what we are going to learn today from our panelists. The ESPR represents a significant stride toward reducing environmental impact through the entire life cycle of products, and with a strong focus on circular economy principles. And this means that encouraging the production of goods that are durable, repairable, and reusable, and also recyclable. So one significant aspect of this framework is the introduction of the digital product passport. And this is a comprehensive digital record containing essential product information and data, such as materials, recyclability, and repairability, all linked through QR codes or NFC chips. So with three phases of deployment in 2027, 2030, and 2033 to the textile sector, now is a crucial time for stakeholders to develop strategies and prepare. So in this session today, Anne, Emilie, and Jack will share the insights and explore the benefits, challenges, and business opportunities associated with DPP adoption across the textile and apparel sector. So now I'd like to invite our panelists to introduce themselves. So let's start with Anne. Hello, Anne.
Good morning. So indeed, my name is Anne and Claes. I'm based in Antwerp, so calling from Belgium. I've been working in the fashion sector for a little bit more than 25 years now. I launched my agency, which is called MASJIEN, 1 year ago. And there we focus on fashion technology and sustainability. So exactly where DPP is also meeting, I would say. I also recently launched a new assignment for the University of Belgium, which is called Ho West, where we are launching a research project specifically on DPP starting next year. And besides that, I sit in the board of a big Belgian retailer group, and I am also a co-founder of Web32, which is the Belgian Web3 movement. I had a startup which is called Mutiny, also in digital fashion and Web3 blockchain applications. And therefore, I think, yeah, DPP is this perfect matching point where fashion, sustainability, and technology meet. So very excited to be on board here and hope to share a little bit of my insights.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks, Anne. And Emilie, would you like to introduce yourself? Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Hello, everyone. So I'm Emilie Serrano, co-manager of Tweener. We are a design and product development agency, and we are specialized in eco-design. We are a French company with an international scope, organized on a free agency based in Taiwan and in France. So actually, I'm in France, of course. We support our customers in creating functional, aesthetic products with the lowest possible environmental footprint. To achieve this, we work closely with them to define their eco-design strategy, calculating the environmental impacts of their products, and also collaborate to explore technical solutions on the various eco-design levers which we have identified during the project. Our customers include startups, SMEs, and also large companies developing consumer goods in sectors such as sports and leisure, childcare, DIY, and home appliance. And we have dedicated technical teams for different type of products we develop, mechanical products and also textile products.
Oh,
So I'm really excited to share our knowledge about eco-design and the link with this new European regulation, which is ESPR.
yeah, looking forward to it. Yeah. Jack?
Hello, everyone. My name is Hsieh. I'm based in Taiwan, but currently I'm in Tokyo, actually. So I'm the CEO and co-founder of DMKTZ and NunoX. So basically, we are a fashion tech company. We are a group of computer vision, software, hardware, and AI engineers that step into fashion industry accidentally, and we have worked for this almost 10 years. So we aim to provide like precise and data-driven solution to help this industry can work more efficient and effectively. Yeah, so I'm very honored to be here to join this panel discussion with all the experts and also share more information with the DigiFashion community.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Yeah, thanks for joining us. Yeah, we're really looking forward to it. So now it's my first question, and I'm going to ask all of you. So there have been a lot of discussion in Europe since ESPR and DPP introduced. But what are the main challenges that textile and apparel industries might face when preparing for the compliance of the digital product passport? And then how can those challenges be addressed? So let's start with Anne.
Yes. I think there are two main challenges. One is to actually collect the data and have the right data to enter in the specific system, because of course the DPP can be a fantastic driver towards circularity and a big change in the industry, but everything depends on the data that will be entered specifically in this system. So that will definitely be a big challenge, because we have very complicated and global supply chains. So we are all depending on different partners to implement the data, have the right data, verify the right data. So I think that will definitely, especially today, will be one of the biggest challenges, because not all our companies are prepared for that. And then secondly, I also believe that DPP can definitely also mean a new wave of digitization in a sector that is not always at the forefront of technical advancement. There are still a lot of old systems. Not everybody is optimized in using state-of-the-art technology. And I think both our leadership and our systems still can use some change management to optimize this DPP implementation, and also to see it as an opportunity for change. Because in the end, yes, it is a regulation, but I also believe that it can also be an accelerator for change for good. But then we also need our leadership to see it in that way and to implement it in the right way, with a clear view on what the future can bring.
Yeah, and Jack, how to address that?
Actually, we try to solve this problem before, I think, this whole concept, because we focus a lot on the data processing and try to help the industry to utilize AI to do something more efficiently. But actually the challenges before DPP, actually the challenges comes from all the textile manufacturers. I mean, this is very traditional industries. They have, I mean, all the employees or even the facilities have work for decades, right? And then the first time we talked to the manufacturer, they say their facility, all the equipment they have is all analog, so they cannot capture any useful data for us. So, for example, that like when they talk about we want to monitor the temperature of this dyeing tank, they say there is only the pins there. They don't have any signal wire there. So we have to use a camera to face from in front of that pin to capture the numbers, try to capture more consistent and useful data for us. So I think the main challenge for these manufacturers will be like how they upgrade all of this to be captured more precise and how to capture this data more efficiently. And they have to upgrade all the facilities, or like they have to purchase even more devices to go digital. And the other challenge will be like some of the manufacturers that the employee there, especially in Asia, I think, they don't even know how to use computer. So when we ask them to input something for us, then it's caused another problem. They ask for another people to help them operate the computers, or like help them to type some information for them. So I will say this is not the for me, this is the very difficult. The first step is very difficult because the whole industry in Asia right now is still a little bit far away from digitize everything and accumulate or like collect useful data for the DPP process, I will say.
Okay, yeah. So it means that, you know, for like digital elevation and training is really
Is
it's
still,
kind of
yeah.
crucial, and then we just have to, you know, speed up. And how about Emilie? Because, you know, you are training. You've trained. I mean, you've done practice a lot of training programs for companies on eco design, on different like sustainable practices. So as for training, you know, in the supply chain or in Asia, people with these challenges on digital inclusivity, then what's on your take for these challenges with your experience?
Yeah, so yeah, with our experience, you know, first of all, France has a particularity because you may know that in 2020, France passed a law called the Anti-Waste Law for Circular Economy, which already requires various number of industry, especially the textile sector, to measure their environmental impacts and to initiate eco-design practices. And there is another law, which is the Climate and Resilience Law in August 2021, that required also that company work on environmental labeling to inform consumers for them to have the choice between two kind of textile apparels or garments, and have a choice regarding the environmental impact. And in this context, since 2022, there is a numerous number of projects and workshops involving industry, lifecycle analysis expert, and academia that work on a methodology first to assure that everyone we have the same way to measure the product environmental footprint. And but there is still some work to do because this methodology addresses a number of environmental impact, particularly climate change, but it's not enough. We have to work also on the impact of this industry on biodiversity, and also regarding how to measure the product durability. And for this reason, there is still works that are going on to address some issue linked to the textile industry, which is, for example, microfiber release, the export of end-of-life clothing outside Europe, and also the non-physical durability. And this is today based on 5 criteria, which will be the range breadth, so the number of items offered by the brand, but also the average commercial lifespan of garments, but also the type of materials, how the brand encourage to repair the product, and also, of course, the transparency regarding the traceability and the manufacturing stage. So on my side, of course, the data management and coordinating the various numerous global industry and supply chain data is a challenge. But this is all the business strategy of the brand that will be questioned. especially regarding the product durability, the repairability of this product, and also the end-of-life management of all the textiles we have on the market.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. It's a very broad range of challenges that we have to tackle, and then to just solve, and then to decide that what's data that to disclose for the compliance as well. So, but based on your research and experiences, so what are the most promising technologies for implementing DPP in circular fashion? And then how does those technologies enhance the traceability of recycled materials? So, Anne, do you have any idea?
At the moment, I think there are already a lot of different technologies in place, but very often they are still divided in different phases of the value chain of the value chain of the product at large. So you have upstream traceability tools that are implemented already for quite a while. Of course, not all companies in the fashion sector have this, but this could already be an interesting way of looking at how to gather the right data to enter and to have a better vision of your supply chain and everyone involved. And then secondly, of course, which is a big challenge for the sector at large, is indeed to get to a more circular approach. So indeed, this repairability, recyclability, etc., end of life process of the product. I think there are also a lot of technologies out there that are already enhancing these kind of implementations, different business models, etc. And DPP is a way of bringing all these things together. But indeed, as you could also hear already in the introductions when we were mentioning the challenges, I think the biggest challenge is DPP is only one challenge, and we were focusing on the challenges of that. But you should not forget that, DPP is part of ESPR, is part of the whole Green Deal, the regulations. It's a tsunami. People are overwhelmed with a lot of things they have to think of, they have to consider. And I think, now using the different technologies that are already out there is a good way to prepare to already do these first steps. But the absolute implementation of a DPP technology today might be a little bit too soon, because of course everything is still in development. But I think it's time to experiment, to prepare, to do already the very first steps.
Yeah, definitely. And because I think, Jack, you just mentioned that, you've because your company just recently just awarded by NVIDIA for the AI startups. And then so do you think that, for the technologies, especially AI, can be leveraged in the textile material innovation, and then to make it more sustainable fabrics to meet, to perhaps to reduce the carbon footprint or all the sustainable sectors to meet the regulation?
Yeah, definitely. So actually what we are working on right now is more like first of all, we built the products to help the textile industry to like accumulate their data or their designs in more efficient way or more easy way. They don't need to spend a lot of time to or deal with all the complicated computer stuff. So we help them to build a data set and use AI and language model to help them simplify the whole process. So we don't want to create additional steps for them. They can just use their general process to seamlessly integrate AI to co-work with them together. So what we're working right now is we start with the design process, digital design process. So we help them to create the digital twins of textile, and so they can capture the final products appearance and fabric physics at the same time, and also they also input all the fabric information, compositions, or even the manufacturer parameters. So as more as they accumulate, then the goal for us is in the future we will help them to do the reverse way. So right now we help them to create digital twins from physical one, but in the future they can start with the digital one and then try to simulate what if they're going to manufacture this in physical space. What is the potential risk? What is the calculated formula for this? So I think in this kind of a process, we can definitely help them to reduce the waste, the trial and error waste, and reduce maybe even the dyeing process, or reduce the fail rate to increase the whole performance and reduce the carbon emission, I think. Yeah, so that's what we are working on right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so Anne, do you have any case studies or any examples that's reflecting to Jack's?
Yes, I think there are already a lot of experiments going on and a lot of case studies. I definitely would like to reference to the European project Surpass and Surpass 2. And Surpass 1 was the definition of DPP and what it could be and become, what is important. But Surpass 2 at this moment is also launching a lot of different pilot projects. It is really a source of a lot of insights, reports, etc. So surpass.eu is definitely one to look at, and Surpass 2, because they have different websites, to be clear. But we also see a lot of implementations already, experiments, for example, products that are using the digital product passport to enhance the resale of the pre-loved goods. So you have this digital twin, digital product ID, or DPP, as we like to call it. There are different names that we use nowadays, where the product information is achieved when you buy the product, and you can use the exact same information to resell it again. So there are already a few examples there. Another very nice one, I think, is also in enriched storytelling, because in the end, we also want to inform our customer on the circularity or on the sustainability level of our product. This can be in a very level of information of certain parameters, but it's also already we are convinced that if people have a very good connection with the product, they will also take better care of it, will use it more and longer. So if you can use also this DPP to tell a little bit more about the product, the brand, the history of the product, how you can use it, etc. I think this also gives a lot of opportunities. Like this one example where Balenciaga, for example, is linking it with a song, a music song. Is just fashion is also about storytelling, about the garment itself, and you can do it with fashion shows, with campaigns, etc. And the DPP can definitely also be a tool to enrich the storytelling in different ways, I think. So a lot of opportunities there as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, when we think about the product itself, we also comes back to Emilie, that with the eco design, if the storytelling can also that people understand that how this product has been designed from where the material is from, and then how you think about the whole life cycle would be, and then how you can resell it, then it's going to be a really good information for consumers to consider whether they want to buy it.
Yes, and I think the most used and important one is also authentication. So up till now, there are already a lot of products. If you look, for example, at Aura blockchain, they have already linked digital IDs to 40 million of their products already today. So that's, of course, also a very important use case to look at.
Yeah. And then talking about eco design, Emilie, so normally, how do you So do you think that's how from the textile sectors to the whole product design, this eco design mindset, we are implementing the digital tools will be beneficial for the industry, or for the people who want to have to basically now is have to adopt for the eco design. And do you have any like examples, or normally how you explain or like let people understand what this is about?
Yeah, I think we have to, because in eco design and in DPP there is the issue regarding collecting the data and everything, and to have the same methodology to explore and exploit this data, to have this kind of environmental indicator. But the key point is also that everyone should be aware about what is eco-design, which are the levers we can have in eco-design, because we can do action at the conception stage. But of course, the manufacturer and the suppliers in the value chain has their role to also improve their technology, to also do some effort regarding material consumption, regarding waste, regarding energy management. But there is also all the life cycle to have in mind. And if everyone in the value chain can be sensibilized and trained to how they can act as eco-design spirit, I think it will push some innovation. The innovation can come from the brand, but it can also come from the suppliers, or also at the end of the chain, the recycling industry that maybe can push a new technology that will change the way we develop and we design the product. So the key point for me is that and maybe the main difficulty is that all the actors on all the value chain could work together to think about the future solution of what will be textile and the textile industry in the future, in the global mindset that will be to, of course, reduce the impact of this industry and change the habits of the consumer at the end. So I think explaining and diffusing the eco-design is really important, and it will be necessary at all the value chain.
Yeah, it is exactly, and it's really a big construction. And I've learned that in Europe we've been already discussing this for many years. And then although the framework has been published, and then the phases of deployment it's already released, but it's not really fully defined yet, right? So apart from eco design or the data, so do you think that's the how to say the brand and then its suppliers or the garment manufacturers, they can start for preparing this with kind of practical term, because it's a very broad items and then loads of things to do. So what kind of practices that you would just suggest that is a more like practical, and then now we can already start to do it? Emilie, would you like to start?
Yeah, I think there is some example of innovation that we can see. I don't know if it has been taken by the brand itself or by a collaboration, but we can speak, for example, about a technology which is a Belgian technology, and which is Resortec. We have developed a solution for heat dissolvable freight and recycling machine to facilitate the separation of the garments, and in order to simplify the way we will recycling the different parts. So typically, this is an innovation at the end of the value chain, but that means that the way we design the product should be use this kind of component, and for the brand, it will change the way they think and how they design the product. So of course, every brand should be make some technology surveillance to just know what are the emerging innovation that exists, because of course, as this eco design is now a worldwide subject, even if it is really pushed by Europe. But as all the value chain everywhere in the world, everyone will think about what I can do to improve the environmental impact of the textile value chain. So we also see some brands that are thinking about how to manufacture with only using monomaterial strategy. And there's also some innovation regarding textile to textile recycling, because now lots of companies try to introduce a recycling material, but that most come from, for example, PET, polyester material. But there is some innovation in many countries that are working on how to recycling materials from textile and garments to do another textile. So use the textile waste to develop and produce new textile products. So of course, I don't know what it could be the answer of how the company should manage this subject, but they have to have a look on what is going on the market. There is some association that are doing some technology surveillance and try to go on eco-design project and start by doing it, and they will learn and improve then the way they can do some eco-design. So the main advice is to start doing something in eco-design and try to have a first collaboration with some innovative company and implement eco-design and start with one project and then continue to going on and learn this improvement in the project.
Yeah, talking about innovation, basically, you know, the technologies really plays a crucial role. And you know, like Anne just mentioned, you know, like in blockchain, there's also possibilities for DPPs implementing in the circular economy. So you know, Anne, do you think that's, you know, what kind of critical success factors to implementing those technologies in meeting DPP?
Yeah. Just to be clear, blockchain will not be part of the regulation. So there will not be a directive that it should be based or that you should be using blockchain technology. But it is one of the topics, for example, we will tackle with our research. Because in the end, it's all about transparency. The data needs to be auditable. It needs to be immutable. These are all aspects that blockchain is ensuring. Of course, it will depend a lot about the number of data that needs to be verified. So it's also possible that we should implement verifiable credentials instead of we cannot mint every transaction throughout the value chain on blockchain, because then it probably would become too heavy. But there are also intermediaries. So I do think we will need to implement it and test and see what is the best way of using these different technologies. But up till today, there are also still a lot of insecurities. For example, standardization. We are still waiting for the standards that we will need to implement. Also the granularity. So at which level do we need to do it, on product level, batch level, or item level? We do not know yet. Of course, companies can also make decisions because you always have regulation on one side and an actual implementation on the other. So companies can also decide, okay, maybe that's the level, but we want to do it even better because we see advantages. So there's also still a lot of questions there. And then lastly, I think what is very clear is that the data will need to be stored in a decentralized way, because companies cannot depend 100%, for example, on their DPP provider, because of course, this data needs to be auditable also beyond the services of a DPP provider, for example. So there's also different ways of looking at it. And then lastly, the interoperability of all the different information that is coming upstream, but also needs to be sent downstream. For example, the data set that is delivered by the supply chain might be in a different format or a different way of reading it than, for example, a recycler. When the certain garment is coming end of life, they will also need certain information, but to have this information interoperable, which is also interoperability, as you know, in Web3 is also a big term. So I think there are a lot of implementations and knowledge that we can use by putting all the different dots together and do a lot of testing and experimenting. I think that's what's mainly going on today.
Yeah. And Jack, you work with the textile industry and supply chains in Taiwan a lot. So what's your take?
Yeah, I think Anne actually already explained very well. I think technology is already there, but I think the critical success factor will be, I also agree with the standardizations. I think standardization is pretty important. And next one will be the communications and then executions. So the reason I mentioned about communication is I think that's the differences between the Asian supply chain and the Western brand, or like European define all the DPP standardizations, and in the supply chain, I think a lot of supply chain they are struggle in how to make profitable, and how to reduce the cost, how to be compliance with the global regulations, or meet their brand customers' requirements. So they actually face a lot of challenges in nowadays, I think they face a lot of challenges. So the communication need to be done very well between the brand side and European side, and also the supply chains. They need to really understand each other's pain points and try to find the balance, I will say. Because when we talk to the supply chains, they always talk about their profit is only that much, and then we start to add more to just try to comply with certain standards, and then they probably will just give up to do all of this because they cannot survive anymore. So it's actually need to make it step by step. So communication is pretty important, and then next one will be the executions, because there are a lot of different because there is no standard there. So a lot of solution or a lot of technology providers, they say, all right, we are going to give you this kind of solution to help you get there. But actually they spend a lot of supply chains, they really want to be compliant with the DPP, or like go more or more be more sustainable. But when they try to adapt I will say not that good solutions to their whole supply chain or whole workflow, it causes a lot of problem in the future. So I will say the first thing, we need to make a good standard, and then do very good communication and help these supply chains to execute very well, instead of wasting a lot of investments on bad solutions at this moment.
Yeah, definitely. Because when we manage a company, we always think about CapEx and then all the pros and cons. This is all the consideration in the business as well. But I think we can learn from others, and then to see how how others practice all these with no matter from the standard or regulations. And Emily, you earlier you mentioned about these regulations in France is called AJEC, and so in France, are there already companies adopting those regulations, and then is there any examples that you can share with people in the industry?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, there is a lot of example that, in fact, for various industry, due to this AJEC law, they have to follow some eco-design principle, which is, for example, including a certain amount of recycling material, which is working on the product durability. There is, for example, in some industries, like for electronic products, a kind of repairability score, which is a quote on 1 to 10 that inform the consumer if the product is repairable, if we can have some spare pieces we can buy to repair the product and this kind of thing. And we can see that all this industry is moving to have some effort regarding product durability, because once all the data will be collected and we will have this DPP passport, the aim is at the end for the customer to compare a product A with a product B and make a choice on, because maybe his environmental conscience is I prefer to buy a product which is more environmental friendly, or I can use it for a more longer time because it is durable and repairable. So we can really see in France that brands in many sectors are pushing some effort in eco-design. They try to think about how I can push some new business model also. For example, we have Decathlon, who is really in advance regarding everything speaking about eco-design, because they implemented many things to reduce their environmental footprint of their products. And for example, they launched some product to be rent instead of being by the consumers. So they try also to innovate in the way they propose an offer. So they also propose a kind of, you pay each month a certain amount. You can go to the store and use some product and come back to the store and give it back the product. And they put in place also some repair place in their store. Before you were able to repair a bicycle, for example, and now you can bring back a textile garment and you can ask for reparation for your for your coat on the kind of a sporting good textile apparels. And so we can really see there is some test of some action. So we put some action on repairability, we put some action regarding eco-design strategy, and we can really see there is some change in the way the brand are working and pushing their R&D effort. We can see in, for example, footwear Salomon was developed a shoe which is almost mono materials, and they work on the fact it should be recycling at the end of the life. And so we can see really a lot of initiative that show that the brand tackle this eco-design subject and try to put on the market some new product and new solution.
Yeah, that's really a good example, and then also to kind of push everyone forward and to really think from the beginning of the fundamental important topics. And so is any examples that on your end that you found that this DPP can just generate like new business model for the industry?
Yeah, as I already said, I think reselling and rich storytelling are definitely two good examples. Authentication is another good one. I think it's mainly, you should look at the DPP as a central point where a lot of different things meet, and that can be a tool or implementation to enhance, for example, new business models, etc. But at the same time, I always like this holistic view of what DPP can mean and can become. But at the same time, when I do certain presentations, for example, like with the example I just gave on Balenciaga and music, this is the dream picture, and of course, all of that is possible. You can link it to loyalty programs. You can have so many different implementations. But on the other hand, I also believe that simply being a passport, a digital twin of a product, and know more about it to make sure that the customer can make the right decisions. I think in the end, that's the most important application, and we should not forget it. DPP is part, as I said, from the Green Deal regulations, and the European Commission has always said fast fashion is out of fashion. That is the main goal why everything is implemented. And I think it can benefit the sector on a global level to make sure all the complete supply chain is regulated and everybody is working in the right circumstances. The materials are used in the right ways. There is a huge challenge, not only for the world, but also for the sector. And yeah, DPP is only one little angle in it, but it does have a link with a lot of different regulations. So yes, eco-design, for example, is important as it starts from the beginning. But I also see, for example, in recycling, repurpose, if you know that less than 10% of the goods nowadays are actually recycled, we need to increase all of that, and I think DPP can definitely be also a very important tool, to accelerate these different steps as well to a more circular economy.
Yeah, definitely. So my last question is, what's your take on how regularity framework, could shape the industry approach on transparency and sustainability over the next decade? Because now we're just it's just the beginning, right? But then what do you think that's in the next decade, what it will be? Who would like to be first, Jack?
Maybe I'm not the one to answer the question. But I just do have some I'm more like when Anne talked about the potential business opportunity or new business model, I think I'm more I have other thoughts about this. Is like, through the DPP process, I think because all the end-to-end supply chain, the industry have to accumulate this kind of data. I think they will come up with more new technology company that they will base on this data to do more analyze or like use the modern the language model to generate more insightful services. So it's just like when OpenAI they announced the language model is very powerful, then people start to, because they already accumulate a very sufficient dialogues data, so they are able to create this kind of big language model. And certainly all the technology companies, they base on this model to build more applications upon of this infrastructures. So I think it's the same that like the textile industry, actually we haven't accumulate sufficient data set to leverage the whole industry. So through DPP, I think once we really make this happen and we really accumulate more and more insightful data for this industry, I think there will be more technology comes up based on this insightful information in the future. So this is something I want to add upon his answer. But this question maybe I can give to Emilie and Anne to answer.
So would you like to go first, Emilie?
On my side, I think, as just Anne mentioned, DPP is only here to help consumer do the right choice regarding the way they will consume every product we buy daily. And the fact is, all this regulation aimed to try to change the mindset of all the consumer, which is we are not happy because we have many garments in our closet, and so we have to change the way the mindset we have regarding all the things we want to hide by ourselves. The idea is really to say, okay, we have these environmental issues, and we are all on the same boat because there is only one planet for everyone. And the aim of all this European regulation is to try to change the habits of the consumers and try the way the brands are proposing an offer which push everyone to buy more and more products in our daily life. And so I think really this regulation is to reduce the environmental impact of the product, because as we will push the transparency and the environmental impact calculation, of course, the consumer will have more information and they will do maybe the right choice or consuming in the better way. And all the philosophy of this regulation is really to change the way we consume and we buy the things, and to try to reduce for each one or even environmental impact on the planet, and try to tackle the GES issue and all the environmental issue we face everywhere in the world. So of course it will not be the only solution, but the regulation are really here to change, I think, the philosophy and the way we think about having and buying many consumer goods every day.
Yeah. And Anne?
Yes. Just thinking, in Dutch we say meten is weten, which means measuring is actually knowing. And I think DPP in the end, it's a data set. It's about knowing what's happening, knowing where your product comes from, but also knowing what's happening later on, knowing what your consumer wants. So it's a very, very powerful tool for all the different experiments and implementations we are doing towards a more circular economy. I also think that fashion companies really need to be aware that endlessly pushing products into a market cannot be the way forward. But instead of also diversifying, for example, in repair options, in resale options, in recycling, upcycling, etc., to take that also at the core of what a fashion company can be is definitely a different way of looking at things, and opens up also new opportunities. So there's a lot of challenges out there, but it's also a good time to grasp all these opportunities. And I think DPP can definitely play a very strategic central role in this transition.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, thank you. Thanks. Thank you for sharing all your insights and thoughts and your experiences. And now we have audience questions. It's very popular for these people are really curious about DPPs. So the first question is that which department in a fashion brand would be best suited to gather data necessary for DPP? Because, you know, a designer might not always make decisions, consider, for example, like transportation of goods. Do you have any, examples or ideas that you can answer the question?
In the experiences that I've already seen inside companies, I think that's also one of the biggest challenges. That's why I said leadership is very important in this specific implementation, because it's not one department. It should be a team of different people inside your company, because yes, very often I see that the sustainability manager, for example, is the driving force behind it. But in the end, it can be more a responsibility of the IT department, for example, because in the end, it is a data collecting tool. But on the other hand, we need to have the designers or the business developers also on board. How can we implement it? and we need to have all the info from the value chain. And in the end, we will need to unlock it towards our consumers with communication and with sales. So DPP is definitely a topic that needs to be tackled by the whole team. Of course, it works best if you make one person or one department responsible and they take everybody on board. But yeah, change management here is very important. That's why also starting with the experiment and doing it already in a small way is very important to get all these people aligned and collaborating. So give it a try for first.
I bet Jack will just think that, work together.
It has to be a special Scrum team. It's a task force that can be reported to leader directly and try to collaborate with different teams. So it has to. I mean, at the beginning, I agree with Anne. Like it has to be a additional team. Not a single department can achieve this, but they need to get support by the leadership and to get this through. So yeah, that's also what I have seen in from my customer side. So.
Yeah, lovely. Yeah, okay. So thank you for today's, and thanks for all your stories and experience and your insights. And yeah, DPP is really the hot topic, and also is a crucial things that we really have to consider and then to well prepare. And I hope that today, with our discussion, and we can have more inspirations on how to find the business opportunities, and also to tackle all these communications and within the supply chain and also the brands. And I hope that we can have more conversations, but we have to leave it here. And thank you for today, and we talk to you soon. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.